Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Alberta News and Views. Today, Pierre Poilievre held a press conference and he called on Mark Carney to sell his financial assets. This country is absolutely ridiculous. It is falling apart at record pace. Pierre Poilievre, the official leader of the opposition party, the Conservatives in Canada, he calls out Mark Carney for lying. Three brutal examples of Mark Carney lying to Canadians before the election, blatantly lying. And then Pierre Poilievre says we have two demands. You sell your financial assets and you put it in a blind trust. Mark Carney is absolutely rolling on the floor laughing at Pierre Poilievre right now. Pierre Poilievre, the official leader of the opposition party in Canada, has so much ammo right now to call on the Prime Minister to resign. He is unfit to be Prime Minister of this country. He is a liar. He has over 500 ethics violations that we know of. It is unbelievable how soft politics is in Canada. Pierre Poilievre, in my opinion, shouldn't be giving financial advice to Mark Carney. He should be screaming, resign. You need to step down. You are unfit to lead this country. You are a liar. How can anybody trust you? Yada, yada, yada. Instead, we get this puppy dog. It is unreal. The stakes right now are massive. Our country is at stake, and this is what we get. So aside from that, you would think that the media would be swarming all over this Prime Minister because of what he has done to Canadians, to our election, to our democracy, to all of this, to this country. You'd think they would want to get to the core of it, to want to know absolutely everything about this Prime Minister that is extremely dishonest. But no. Instead, they ask the most ridiculous questions at the most ridiculous time. And I'm going to get into more of this, the media, right after this. I time-stamped just the questions that they asked him, that they asked Pierre Poilievre, after he gave like a 5-minute speech on how corrupt and dishonest Mark Carney is. Listen to this first question.
Hi, Mr. Poilievre. Simon Tuck from National Post.
Hi, Simon.
You've had some time since the election to contemplate and think things over. Any plans to do things differently, either in terms of your team or your approach, anything like that?
Again, you have another corrupt Liberal Prime Minister that lies to you, and you want to know what Pierre Poilievre is going to do now that he lost the election. What's he talking about with his team? Seriously. Moving on. Here's the question number 2.
Hello, Mr. Poilievre. Stephanie Levitz, the Globe and Mail. Nice to see you. Your party voted in favor of Bill C-5. And
Pierre Poilievre, you voted on Bill C-5. Do you see what's happening here? They're going after Pierre Poilievre instead of Mark Carney. They are flipping the narrative. Continuing on. Question number 3.
Canadians have the chance to become the most prosperous on earth.
Hello, Mr. Poilievre. Ellie Canton-Nantel with The Hub. During the campaign, I visited Western Canada and was honestly shocked with the level of frustration and alienation in Western Canada. You're currently running for Western Canadian seats. What do you have to say to people in the West who are so frustrated that they think that even if you were...
Western separation? Oh, Pierre Poilievre, you're running in the West. What do you think about Western separation? Western independence? Seriously, he goes on to say we need to unite every single province. We need Alberta to work with Newfoundland and buddy up because they both like their oil. It is absolutely ridiculous what we are dealing with. And last but not least, question number 4.
All Canadians. Thank you.
And we have the final question.
Hi, Mr. Poilievre, so Paul Dutch, Global News. You previously called for severe limits to population growth in Canada. Can you clarify what you mean by that?
Hey, Pierre Poilievre, you want Canada's population to decline. The journalism in Canada, the mainstream media in Canada, is a big, big, big problem. It is turned into straight up propaganda. This come out today from the Globe and Mail. Let's free ourselves of the United States and forge closer ties with China. Seriously. The Globe and Mail is saying we need to distance ourselves from the United States and get closer to China. Well, it is well known that China has infiltrated our government, our real estate. They control the ports in British Columbia. And of course, the United States is extremely concerned with China baking up drugs and distributing it in North America from Canada. The world's biggest drug bust was in British Columbia. Seriously. Now, why the Globe and Mail? Why would the Globe and Mail dish out something like this? Well, this is why right here from the great Andy Lee. The Globe and Mail is the Century Initiative's official media partner. It is run by Mark Carney's advisor, Mark Wiseman, and is partially funded by Power Corporation, run by Mark Carney's top donors, who also lead the Canada-China Business Council. Do you see? Foreign interference is alive and well in Canada. You need to realize what we are dealing with. And this came out just the other day. Now, back to the article that says we need to distance ourselves from the United States. This is from the CBC. This is straight up propaganda. Listen to this.
Let's talk about the subject of the second hour, because it's odd. We're in this rocky relationship as a nation with the United States, our friends, our neighbors, and our family members who live in the U.S. and colleagues. It's become so difficult in terms of handling the conversations we're having delicately. So talk to us about that and how you're planning on exploring that issue next hour.
Yeah, so, some time ago, before this trade war, we did a version of the topic that we're doing in the second hour, asking people about their relationships with people in the United States. And we learned a couple of things. First of all, a lot of Canadians have family and dear friends in the United States. I mean, more than acquaintances, really close friends, people that they would go and vacation with, and so there are a lot of Canadians with ties to Americans. And the second thing we discovered is how difficult it was for many of them to deal with Americans because of Trump and the MAGA movement, especially the.
Seriously. They're using the exact same playbook they used during the pandemic with the unvaccinated. Oh, how do we deal with them? How do I deal with my crazy uncle? Remember that? It is exactly the same thing. They are creating a narrative that does not exist. Oh, how are we going to deal with? Yeah, we did this survey with these people this one time, and this is what we got out of it. If they were really serious about this relationship problem, they would be doing the opposite. Not how do we deal with it? How do we bring us closer together? How can we make this work? You see how that works? We are dealing with the blob. That is what this is. Continuing on. Canadians drastically downgrade climate as a priority, poll finds, as economic concerns escalate. We are in such an economic crisis until it affects our wallet. It was never real. It was never a crisis. It was indoctrination and mind control. And it reminds me, I can't remember her name. Laurel, I actually think it's Lauren. Anyway, Laurel Collins. She's an NDP MP. This is how hysterical these people are. And it is because of years and years and years of climate hysteria. You're not going to believe this.
I want to start off by addressing one of the comments that was made by the witnesses around climate hysterics. Hysteria, it refers to something that is wildly emotional. It comes from the Greek word womb, of the womb. It is used in ancient Greek to refer to things associated with women. And I hope you'll forgive me if I get emotional. Climate emergencies are not gender neutral. The degradation of ecosystems disproportionately impacts women and girls. And I am wildly emotional. This is the existential crisis of our time. And to hear that we're asking for high ambition is climate hysteria, that makes me wildly emotional. Absolutely. You know, when I think about my womb, you know, the 2 children that I bore from that womb and what future we are leaving them, I am wildly emotional.
You are wildly hysterical. This is climate hysteria. She is the embodiment of climate hysteria. It is not that bad. They never, ever, ever, especially in Canada, are able to hear counter arguments for climate. I have yet to see one single debate about climate. I'm serious. I have yet to see one single debate, 2-on-2, 4-on-4 about climate. It ain't going to happen because the climate hysteria people will get absolutely destroyed. Every single climate scientist, the best on earth that I have watched, have all been silenced or fired or smothered or something has happened to them. The data has been manipulated so bad that it is impossible to know exactly what's going on out there. And don't even get me started on climate engineering, geoengineering, all of that crap. It exists. It is real. Florida just banned it. Seriously. It's crazy. Anyway, the fertility rate thing is popping back up again, especially because what is going on in Europe and Ireland in terms of immigration and Italy right now. They're saying this needs to happen. It doesn't need to happen. We don't need this mass, crazy, ridiculous immigration. The big question that is a gray area for me, I get it, but I don't get it. For these numbers right here, the 1.34, this is how many couples are having kids. So you have 2 people, they have 1 kid. It averages out to this number right here. We're just not having enough kids. For 2 people, you should have 3 kids, right, to get that growth. There is a time when there is half of the people that are on Earth right now. Like even when you go back to the 90s, there was the population was drastically lower than what it is. So is this really about the human race, or is this more about money? Because the Earth can definitely lose people and be fine. But it's pretty obvious that the infrastructure, they need the people to do stuff. So it's like, you think about the drugs, the crime, the chaos, the housing, the ecosystem, the globe, all of this stuff. What if we shaved off billions of people? Naturally, I'm talking about. We started having less kids. And, you know, there's a reason why. It's not about fertility rates. It's obvious because of stress and nutrition and all of these things. The reasons why people don't want to have kids that have their shit together. But when you look at other animals, they do the same thing. When the birds and the bees happens, if there's not enough food that year, they go, maybe we'll have kids next year. It's the same globally. So really, do we need to keep on immigrating all of these people because we need more Tim Hortons built? Or should we maybe stop? Because I swear, this is all in our faces now. Because if you print money, you need taxpayers And you need to build more Tim Hortons to make the world, Canada, to make the elbows up prosperous still so they can afford retirement. Because I think that's what they're worried about, is a financial collapse if they don't start having more busy bees, more ants. The way that the things that we are doing right now are beyond corrupt and morbid and sinister. It is unnatural. It's insanity. People are blindly walking into a meat grinder. It's pretty obvious if you pay attention. I will keep you updated with as much as I can when I can. All of you out there, like, share, and take care.